welcome to Creaturegeek, the special effects makeup podcast from the fan and pro perspective. I am Len Peralta.
And I am Frank Ippolito.
And happy 2017 to everyone out there.
No, good riddance 2016, right? Isn't that what everybody's saying these days?
We have to say 2016. Yes, it's still early in the year, so we're allowed to do that. So, but we are back for another year or so of Creature Geek, and we are just going to get right into it. It's been missing it for a lot here, so I know a lot of people have. So let's get right.
It's my fault because I've been way too damn busy.
No, it's
all my fault, everybody.
No, we kind of need a break. It's always good to take a break and come back refreshed, and I think that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start it with today's guest. Today's guest is a sculptor and concept designer who has been working in the FX industry for well over 20 years. His resume includes such films as James Cameron's Avatar, Hellboy, Galaxy Quest, and The 300. We are super excited to chat with him about his work, and I'm excited to talk to him about being a concept designer. Would you please welcome to Creature Geek, Mr. Jordu Schell.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Jordu.
Thanks for having me.
Schell.
I've been wanting to have you on here for a while, ever since I started seeing your audio blogs pop up. Which are amazing to listen to if you guys haven't listened to them.
Yeah, they're not politically correct at all.
Well, that's okay though. We need to have this venue to just kind of scream at the world sometimes.
But yeah, I do an audio blog that basically it's on my site, jorduschell.com. And basically I tell it's called Freelance horse shit, and it's basically about some of the nonsense you go through as a freelance artist in this industry, both for big and small clients, and the absurd things we ask to get done and changed, and so it's a way to vent and rant about things that have happened, but also I think one of the things I'm trying to do, and one of the things I'm always trying to do with my students and because I teach classes as well, I try to give people some perspective on this industry who are new, and help people to see that, even if you're in, Nebraska and you're freelancing, we all have things in common. Even those people who appear to have made it, we all have things in common, and doing this kind of work isn't easy, and being a freelance artist is very, very difficult. And anyone who's put out their own shingle and tried to make a go of it knows what I mean. So.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a constant struggle for everyone.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. That's good to know. It never gets easier.
There's not a single guest that we've had on here that's been like, "Oh yeah, this is easy. Everybody should do it."
Really? I mean,
no, nobody says. Like
most of the people that I know in the industry just have this kind of, well, not most, but I've met a lot that have this kind of gung ho attitude, like, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything else." And I think, gee, if I could be a rock star, I'd do it.
I don't know that I'd want to do anything else. I mean, this is all I've ever wanted to do since I was a kid. No, but that doesn't mean that it's easy, and that doesn't mean that these things, like, while people like us maybe make it seem like it's a natural, like, oh, we just wake up in the morning and make cool shit. Like, this is hard, and it was hard to get to where we are.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying, it's not so much that I wouldn't want to do anything else, or that I'd want to do something else. It's just that it's a business, and I think a lot of people don't realize that it's a business, and that it takes a tremendous amount of know-how that goes far beyond being able to sculpt or paint or draw or design or do ZBrush. You have to be very savvy with people, with money, with all kinds of things, none of which I am. So
dude, we all have our how many times have I shot myself in the foot, put my foot in my mouth, nuked a bridge? Everybody does that. And a lot of that is also part of learning what you want to and don't want to do, because I'm sure that everybody else, when I was younger, I was much more of a jackass, and I pissed people off even faster, and
You've mellowed out a lot.
Well, you have to rein it in, because
I mean, just in the few years I've known you, you've mellowed out a lot.
Well, I want to be taken seriously, and I want my business to be taken seriously. And by going out there and being a nutcase, that's fine when I'm in my 20s. you know, and I observe a lot of other makeup artists that are young or in their 20s, and they act out, and you know, that's fun for a while, but fuck, I want to buy a house. Yeah. You know, like you can't act like a jackass and think that you're gonna, like, you know, start stacking up cash.
Yeah,
I want to retire, maybe not retire, but I want to at least have money that I don't have to work like a dog every day. Eventually, like when I'm in my 70s or something.
Do you think people act like jackasses because they feel that that's what they need to do in their young years, like to be accepted in the industry?
No, I think it's because you're young. You know, I think most 20-somethings, I think a lot of people that are older look back on their youth, what they call their misspent youth, and they think, ooh, if I could only redo that.
Get that back.
You know, I mean, take for instance, you know, the way we all are initially around women when we're girls, you know, when we're in our early teens, 13, 14, 15. And for me, you know, up even into my 20s, I was awkward and kind of like, so you like
Stop.
to eat food and, you know, and, you know, what's sad is the balance there is that, you know, when I was young and in my 20s, I was trim and, you know, relatively good looking, you know, and now that I'm a big doughy ape who doesn't care anymore, suddenly, you know, it seems like women are like, ooh, that's because I've got the confidence of not giving a shit, you know, and honestly, it's that nonchalance and that sort of, you know, whatever attitude that I think makes people more, seemingly more confident and together, you know. When you're young, you're easily excitable and you know, you're thinking a million miles a minute and, ooh, if I do this, oh, but wait, maybe I should do that. And, you know, eventually, hopefully, you get to the point where you kind of have a somewhat more retiring outlook on life, and you approach things a little more methodically.
Or mature. I guess what you're saying is maturity.
Yeah, you gain maturity.
Or we just keep all that jackass shit in our head.
Yeah, and then there's that. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You know, I think a lot of things that are just like, whoa, okay, I'm so glad I didn't say that. And I've you know, in my 20s, I think that I would just say the thing, and people go, yeah, but now I'm just kind of like, now I just think and go, don't say that right now. Not right now.
You know, just give, you know, everybody has their own way of sort of keeping motivated. You know, you were saying earlier that, you know, being a freelance artist is super hard. I'm a freelance artist. Frank's a freelancer. You are. So, and we all have our own ways of sort of making it through. What is your preferred way of making it through the tough, dry, mealy times of being a freelancer?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's still a lot of white knuckling it through lean times. But if the question is, how do I stay motivated? How do I stay excited about art? The answer is other artists, you know, seeing what other people are doing and feeling like, wow, you know, there's somebody with an unbelievable imagination. And I would love to do something like that. So you rip them off and then you call it your own, and then, you know, you get a lot of money.
That's true. You know, that's a really tough thing to do these days. I've been seeing a bunch of posts lately on some mutual friends of ours, Facebook, of pictures that they may have drawn back in the day, which look similar to other things that I think that I recognize. And they're saying that somebody recently is ripping off their designs that they drew from back in the day. It's like, I think I've seen that before too. Like,
absolutely, like, I know exactly who you're.
Talking about. And I don't want to, like, you know, name any names because, like, that's not
why bother.
Because I like the person. But it's just like there's a lot of people that will either A, blatantly steal, or B, like, who gives a shit if somebody saw something that you did, was a little bit inspired, and took it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I mean,
I think that's flattering. Like, if somebody, like, if I doodle something on a napkin, put it on my internet, and then somebody takes that and makes it like this great, awesome thing, it's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Well, I think there's a fine line between inspiration and plagiarism. I've had difficulties with some plagiarism in my career. But I've also seen people that were clearly just inspired by my work and did unbelievable things, on their own. So,
I've been inspired by things that you've done, and I work really hard not to rip things off, but I'll take little notes from here and there. Sure. And go, that looks great. I want to do something similar to that.
Yeah. Well, you that's what we do, though. That's what you have to do. Steal from the best, as they say. And I think that in terms of, I think that there's a lot of just sort of me attention getting stuff going on Facebook, where people just want to post things to get their constituency or their, not constituency, but their little fan base to rally behind them. And the fact of the matter is, it's just so much chatter. To me, what gets me excited to create again is seeing what's going on out there. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to take something directly or even indirectly necessarily. It's just looking at a world, looking at another world, which you get when you look through someone else's eyes, and you do that by seeing their art. So for me, that there's nothing more exciting than sitting down to Google and you type in, and of course nature. Mm-hmm. I mean, nature is a bounty of bizarre, but a bounty of bizarre. But you type in, awesome demon sculpture,
right?
And then you wade through all the crap done by students on ZBrush and Mudbox and blah blah blah, and then boom, you see something you've never seen before by an artist you've never heard of, who's somewhere in the fucking Netherlands.
Yeah,
and you're like, who is that? I mean, I think I typed something in. I can't remember even what it was, but I discovered some art page. And on that art page were dozens of artists I've never heard of, all of whom were geniuses. It was crazy. It's like a rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've heard this before, that the internet's like a rabbit hole. And and after a while, I just said, oh my God, I got to stop. Like, this is actually depressing because there's so many brilliant artists out there I've never heard of. Creature design guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's overwhelming. And the
pool is getting deep these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's, like I said, I believe that there's an awful lot of mediocrity to wade.
Yeah.
In fact, there are some people that are very well known that are incredibly mediocre, but you got to wade through that and really find the meat, the really, really good stuff. And the people that are making strides and doing things that are different and unusual and strange. And, sometimes it's not even, for me, sometimes it's not even finding a creature designer whose work inspires me, but it's a film or it's a painting that some artist has done. I discovered this Swedish artist named Simon Stalenhag, who does these kind of vistas with dead tech in them, like like old rusting huge robot things, and in the middle of snowy fields, like it's been there for 50 years.
Oh, that's cool.
And it all kind of has a 70s feel to it, and you see people in snow jackets looking up at it, almost always facing away from the viewer.
That's cool.
It's crazy stuff. Simon Stalenhag, guy's a genius.
Huh. Is that the random guy in the Netherlands?
He's one of them. He's not random anymore though. This guy had a Kickstarter that went gangbusters. I think he made over $1 million. I mean, it's just something crazy.
Really?
For a book he wanted to put out. I mean, it was rarefied air, let me tell you. With the money he raised. It overperformed insanely. Insanely.
Wow, I got to check him out. Simon Stalenhag?
Stalenhag. Yeah. Yep, type it in. You'll be blown away.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, so speaking of Kickstarters, you got a thing going on right now.
I do. I have an IndieGogo campaign going on right now. And it's for my first film, which is a short, because I want to dip my toes in the water first before jumping right in any kind of feature. But I'm very, very excited about it because it is finally the opportunity to contextualize my work. And I think that is what so many people who want to make films, especially effects artists who want to make films, are anxious to do. They want to see their work put into the context that they've always wanted to see. And instead of some bloated Hollywood thing, where, it gets put in the background or cut out altogether or turned into a digital thing or shot poorly or used for a joke. This is the opportunity for me to create things that will be contextualized in the way I want them.
Awesome. How far along are you? IndieGogo is different than Kickstarter, where like there's not like you have to reach a goal to get the money to make it. Like,
well, you can choose to have a flexible goal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we're pretty good right now. We want to raise 35. We're at over 25 now.
Oh, that's great.
All right, everybody kicking a couple bucks. Yeah. He's almost there.
With about 18 days to go, so we're a little scared, but it's not really. We're going to make it either way.
Yeah.
No matter what, we're going to find a way to make this thing because I have to. I'm 49 and I've been kicking around the industry for a long time, wanting to do something of my own, and this is that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I've got an amazing group of people behind me. I've got a bevy of effects people, from ILM to Disney, to Sony. All kinds of different artists who are interested in pitching in and helping out. I've got sculptors, and so I'm very, very excited about it. I know it's going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, I'll tell you a little about the story.
Yeah,
sure,
go ahead.
Yeah, entice us.
Well, I'm very, I'm a huge fan of David Cronenberg, who's a Canadian filmmaker. For those who don't know, he's a Canadian filmmaker who did a string of science fiction horror films between 1976 and 1986 that are all masterpieces.
Like Naked Lunch and stuff like that.
Well, Naked Lunch came later.
Scanners?
And I don't like that one as much.
Oh, okay.
but
Chris Wallace did a bunch of his stuff, but he did more than just.
He did The Fly.
Yeah.
Videodrome?
Videodrome is one of them.
Yeah.
Basically, he did Shivers, Rabid, The Brood, Scanners, Videodrome, The Dead Zone, The Fly, Dead Ringers. That's a longer string of brilliant horror films than any other horror filmmaker, I think, can claim.
I didn't realize he did Dead Zone.
Yes, he did.
Wow. I was just going to watch that last night, actually.
All right, now I got to look all these up on my Plex and watch them.
Yeah, but Cronenberg has a very specific mood and a specific vibe that I think is what horror should be. It feels right to me. And I'm making a film that is in that vein. It's science fiction horror, and it deals with a small genetics lab where they are creating genetic mutations for some vague purpose. You get the impression that maybe it's for warfare or who knows what it is. But
all good genetics labs with mad scientists are for
exactly
warfare, or raising Cthulhu.
Or raising Cthulhu.
Those are,
there's only two reasons.
There's no middle ground.
Exactly. Well, basically, things go wrong when one of these beings is able to take control, and it's going to be chock full of monsters, but not corny, googly monsters. Hopefully very convincing stuff. And we're going to be using a variety of special effects techniques, which I'm very excited about. We're going to use some digital. We're obviously going to do a lot of physical effects. There's going to be compositing and mechanical props and puppetry and whatever we have to do to get miniatures, forced perspective, anything we have to do to get the shot and to make it feel real. I think one of the things that I don't like in modern horror, and please tell me what you guys think, because I'll just ignore it. But no, the thing that bothers me about most modern horror is it's either played for laughs or it's a bunch of cheap jump scares. You rarely get a sense of a mood in film anymore. It's all and Cronenberg's films are just drenched in mood. There's a specific feeling you get when you watch them. They're very strange. They're probably not for everyone, but there's no doubt that they are
moody,
and I think brilliant. I mean, possibly his best is The Brood. The Brood, or I mean, Scanners is great too, though.
Yeah.
Videodrome. I mean, I don't know. They're all amazing to me.
I think horror films, like, I guess if you had to associate it with like it's food. Okay, so horror films is maybe the ice cream of food, right? You know, like comedies are maybe salad, and
I think drama is salad.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So whatever.
You gotta eat it. You gotta watch. You gotta feel, and it makes you feel, a little cleaner when you're done. But
that's why. I guess that's why I'm not doing too good lately, because I don't watch enough of those.
Well, they also make you poop.
Yeah. So let's say horror movies are ice cream. I happen to like maybe chocolate ice cream, which are the nice slow burn, good creepy ones. But some people like
strawberry.
Rocky Road, which is the jump scare.
Yeah.
Some people like strawberry, which is the torture porn. Everybody's got a different kind of.
Because it's red.
That is the title of the show. Strawberry is the torture porn.
Yeah.
Strawberry torture porn.
There you
That's
go.
the name of a rock group. Instead of Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Yeah, right. Okay, so but different people like different flavors. So to say something's wrong with horror films these days, I still think that there are nice, juicy, slow burn horror films.
The Witch.
I was just going to say The Witch.
The best horror film to me made in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
okay.
It was just so good. So I mean, I think people still can make them. I think that it's really hard to get through that. Like making a film is like really fucking hard. We have so many friends that are also trying to make films, and I've made a bunch of films in the past, and Jerry Macalusso's trying to go down that path now. Like everybody's, Well,
I think it's great.
You have to find that balance between. It's a business also, just like doing this makeup. Like you can't just go balls to the wall and splooge all over the screen with your monsters. You have to like balance it out with all this other stuff, and it becomes a really hard challenge to find that and to craft the story to complement the amount of effects and the things that you want to get through. And then you also have to balance that out with what do people react to. And it's much easier and much less of a gamble to have things that are more acceptable and mainstream that the dummies like things like, I don't want to say that everybody that likes torture porn is a dummy, but those are like kind of low hanging fruit, Like
exactly, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and so
that's a brilliant way to put it.
But to do
low hanging fruit.
But to do a film like The Witch, that's not low hanging fruit.
Oh no, that's high concept, mate.
That's a hard film to make. That's a hard film to edit. That's a hard film to get through a studio system, let alone get a wide release in theaters.
It's hard to believe, that it even was made, and that's what's so wonderful.
Amazing.
That it came. I mean, I'm hoping that it is a call to arms to.
Everybody wants to do that.
Yeah, I mean, make really adult horror. See, one of the platforms upon which my campaign is running is that I'm saying no naked chicks running through the woods.
All right.
No tough guy one-liners. No, extreme gore nonsense.
Yeah.
Just adult horror. Now there will be violence. There's going to be some very disturbing imagery.
Yeah.
But I want it to be the kind of imagery that makes you uncomfortable in the same way as you feel when you discover that, your girlfriend has a club foot. Or I mean, I mean, sorry to women that are listening to a club feet. Listen, I there's something where it's like I just don't want to. Do I have to get all the way naked? Well, I mean,
you leave your socks on, dear.
You know, I mean, you know, but I feel like, you know, somebody's got a little arm, or I don't know what it is. I'm this is awful. But what I'm saying is,
this is a taste of his
now it's
video
time
blog.
to alienate everybody. No,
trust me, I've said lots of dumb shit on here. So.
But I guess what I'm saying is, when you leave a horror film and you feel messed up,
yeah,
you're doing something right. You know, not necessarily messed up like, ew, God, it was so gross. And they pull that guy's head right off, and like his girlfriend saw, and it was like gross. She had a club foot. What I'm saying is, when there's this amazing moment in the David Cronenberg film Dead Ringers, where a guy, it's about twins,
yes,
who fall in love with the same woman, and one twin is terrified that this woman is going to come between he and his brother. That's the one thing neither of them really want. And he has a dream, a nightmare, that his brother is asleep next to him in the bed, and they're attached by this strange umbilicus. And she's in the bed with them. And he's saying something like, and she chews through that thing attaching them, you know, symbolic. And he's like, no, you know, and there's something so disturbing about that image and about that idea. And that is the kind of disturbing I want to put on screen. I don't want to have some dude strapped to a chair getting his ear cut off, or, you know what I mean?
Right,
that's just not my thing at all. I'm not interested in masked killers. I'm not interested in, you know, big snake monsters, and, you know, that's just not what I want to do.
Yeah.
It sounds like you might like this movie called Goodnight Mommy. Have you heard about that?
Loved it.
Yeah, that's sort of like in your vein.
It is. It goes a little bit into, you know, M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong territory.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's
too many twists.
It's just, you'll see.
Okay,
I don't want to reveal a thing about it,
but it does, as far as mood goes, I think
it's terrific. It's terrific in that respect, and that's one of the things I think Frank and I are both responding to about The Witch. Did you see this film?
I did not see The Witch. No.
Oh,
okay.
I heard a lot about it, though.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm sure that Frank is responding to, whether he knows it or not, I'm sure he does though, is that film is incredibly moody. Yeah. It set a tone. And the authenticity of the time period, which is Pilgrim time, that it takes place in, is so real. They did research on the way they spoke then, the exact language, the accent of the region. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And it's so nice and refreshing to have a nice slow burn film.
Exactly.
I'm going to go rent it after tonight. I'm going to go rent it after this show.
Well, there's one performance in it by a little boy. Steven Spielberg could not have elicited this performance out of this kid. I don't know how they did it. I read an article about it, and the father's trying to explain. Well, I was trying to explain it to him in terms of sports and soccer and something he'd kind of understand. And I don't see how that connects with this performance at all. It is shocking. Huh. You just can't believe it's a little kid doing this. The kid's got to be 10.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is really happening. Like, what? Yeah. It's incredible.
I over the holiday break, at the Tippett house, we always have our Christmas Eve movie, and this year it was Don't Breathe.
Oh, I thought Don't Breathe was actually kind of good.
It was. It was pretty good.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, Phil doesn't like anything. So
Phil Tippett?
Yeah.
Is he here?
No.
In LA?
No, up in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
My girlfriend is his daughter, and so every holiday I go up there.
Lucky guy.
That's my Christmas present from them, the Phil Tippett apple box sitting there on the floor.
Oh.
Wow.
That's your Christmas gift?
That was my Christmas gift.
An apple box.
An apple, and a bloody
with
apple
Phil
box.
Tippett spray painted on it.
Yep.
I could have given you that. Spray paint Phil Tippett on the box. I worked with Phil on Evolution, and
I saw a bunch of your maquettes up at the shop.
He's a hell of a guy. I was just talking about him today. Someone was saying, "You worked at Phil Tippett's. What's that like?" And I have nothing but good things to say about working up there. He's so brilliant that you feel really shitty a lot, because we were.
That's the sign of a true pro if they make you feel totally shitty.
Well, but he wouldn't do it on purpose. He was just
no. I got
just
you.
Phil.
We'd go see these dailies for. They were working on 2 films at the time. They were working on Cats and Dogs, which was really entertaining and a lot of fun for the whole family, and Evolution, which was a piece of fucking shit. And we would sit in there. They would invite everybody who worked there to watch the dailies of the animation, because everyone has a sense of how cats and dogs and animals move. And maybe somebody who isn't an animator might have a good idea. And Phil would sit there and we'd watch, and he'd say, all right, see the way the shoulder blade is moving there? That doesn't feel right, because technically what you want to do is, and he'd be like, Jesus Christ, he's right. Like, you're thinking that looks perfect, and he's like, no, it's like, and that's why that moment when the Tyrannosaurus breaks out of the paddock in Jurassic Park looks that way. Why it looks absolutely fucking real, because it's Phil Tippett.
Yeah, no,
a lot of the other dinosaurs look fantastic in it. I mean, that was a groundbreaker, as we all know. But that shot in particular, where it lifts its head up and tears the thing and puts one foot on the edge of the paddock, and then comes down, the water splashes, looks around a little bit, that sends chills on my spine every time. Sometimes I look just that scene up on YouTube, and you got to wade through all the hey, yo, man, this Tyreek, man, we're going to talk about Jurassic Park today. I just want to let y'all know I seen this shit last night, man. Shit was real, though. Okay? T-Rex comes out. Let's watch that scene. Nah, just playing with you. I just want to talk about it, though. All right, T-Rex come out the paddock. Scraps him, man. Kids all scared as shit. Come in and grab that fucking bitch, nigga. Grabs that motherfucker, shake him around, shoot him out, man. That's fucked up, man. Kill that lawyer, too, man. Kill that lawyer. And that's where you're kind of like, I hate that on YouTube where you have to wade through all this shit. Yeah. You have to wade through all this bullshit just to find what you're looking for. Anyway, I love watching that scene. I'm sorry.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, so yeah, Don't Breathe is pretty good.
Yeah, Don't Breathe is good.
Yeah.
Last night I watched, my wife hates this shit, so she just like, do what you want, you will anyway. And she went to the bedroom. I was like, fine. I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, how is that?
No.
I said that's on Netflix, right?
No. Yeah.
Yep. Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon. Okay.
I paid for this shit, so I hope so. Because I have both, and that movie is really interesting.
Really? What's it about?
The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, all right.
No, I'll tell you what it's about.
About 90 minutes.
Father and son. The father played by Brian Cox of Manhunter fame. Mm-hmm. And that kid who starred in Speed Racer. What the fuck? Anyway, in comes an unmarked body of a beautiful young woman. They're coroners. And they start the autopsy to figure out why she's dead. She's been found in a house, half buried in the cellar, where an entire family has been killed, bloodily, gorily. And yet they find this unmarked body, this woman half buried in the cellar. And they bring her to the coroners, this father and son, and they start their autopsy. And things get really weird.
All right.
Good. I did see that all over break. I saw that come up. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what it is, but I kind of avoided it.
Pretty damn good horror film. It's not The Witch or The Exorcist or Videodrome, but it's pretty damn good. I mean, as horror goes, especially these days, mm-hmm. I'd put it at sub-excellent.
Sub-excellent.
It's not quite excellent.
So,
but it's scarily close to excellent.
Where do you put the first half of Babadook?
Babadook?
Yeah, did you see the Babadook?
Excellent. I put that first 2/3 at excellent.
Okay.
That movie was horrifying. really scary
until the CG thing skittered around.
Well, the siege, exactly. I mean, I have a feeling you and I have very similar tastes, Frank, because I thought like, oh no, they're giving into the whole mommy thing where it's all like, woo, swirly shit and swirly CG shit, and that first 2/3 of that film are pretty much right. Like they did it right. Oh, they know what they're doing. Yeah. The creature is scary. The kid, the mom, everything is right.
And then the producer's like, "Nah, we need more CG. See, that's what kids.
Hey, here's what we gotta do. All right, you're a smart kid, right? What we're gonna do? We're gonna put a lot of CG in it. We're gonna fuck it all up.
Everything's gonna skitter around real fast.
Yeah, a lot of fast moving shit, black, so you can barely see what you're looking at, but like floating fabric. But isn't that what they did in Shut the fuck up, kid. I'm the old hand. You're new. All right." I agree. That's exactly what they did, and they kind of blew it.
Yeah. The director of that had like a Kickstarter-y thing shortly after Babadook to buy the book, and she made the book, and then with extra pages. So it was the director and like her and her buddies made these things. I ordered one. The book is gorgeous.
Where is it?
I don't have it here. It's at home. I don't think I have it here. No, I think it's at home. Oh, the Babadook book it's a whole pop-up book. Just like it's so gorgeous.
Well, I mean, I really thought that movie was really good. You know what's funny? I see a lot of films these days where they start off with a great little premise, and then they just kind of blow it with CG and bad acting and cheap sets. The cheap sets you can't fault them for too much, but it's a shame when you see something start off that's just right on. I saw one called, I can't remember, The Possession of, but it's about some old lady that's possessed. And it was friggin' scary. It was really well done. Lady that's possessed. They go to kind of interview her because I think she's got Alzheimer's or something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it though. Yeah.
What's it called? The Possession of? Do we know?
I can picture the trailer. Yeah.
How long ago did it come out?
I don't know, a couple years.
Like they started to go in a good direction when they did The Conjuring. I thought The Conjuring was pretty well done. And then Conjuring 2, like
it wasn't that great.
It wasn't as good.
Fuck sequels. I'm over that.
Well, I mean, sometimes sequels are okay.
What, Empire Strikes Back? No.
Aliens? Godfather 2?
Aliens is good. It's not Alien.
Well, it's a different movie. One's a suspense and the other one's an action. Yeah.
Well, but I think Alien is far superior in every way. Aliens is a lot of fun.
Well, Alien is a slow burn, which we've both already established that we like slow burn.
Is it really a slow burn? I don't see it as that.
That's nice and slow.
Well, I guess once the thing jumps on him, I mean, up to the point where the thing jumps on him, but I feel like for those of you who don't know, a thing jumps on a guy. But
you're spoiling a movie that's like 30 years old,
and the thing, but I don't know. I just feel like I guess Aliens just more my taste. I thought Aliens was a lot of fun. That's about it. Yeah. Alien is a film to be studied and pondered. What's your favorite horror film, man? You on the screen there.
Come on, this is Len. His name's Len. That's Len, by the way.
We've talked about this plenty of times on the show. I love The Thing.
Why? The Thing is terrible. Of course, it's that and Alien are the greatest monster movies I think ever made. That maybe an American Wolf in London, The Howling.
American Werewolf in London.
A little handful of great monster movies that were made right in that 5-year period.
No, wait a second. I don't mean to interrupt, but I am. So speaking of The Thing, so the ADI guys made a big deal about their stuff from The Thing 2 getting replaced, and they ran their Kickstarter based on, hey, we're going to do it the right way, the way people want to see it. Isn't it a hard not act to follow, because I don't think they did it very well. But it's so hard to run a campaign on, I'm going to do it right, kids.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's funny about that. Some guy who I thought it was very rude to say, he didn't need to say it at all. But I put up a post for my campaign on my Facebook. And this guy just wrote, not convinced. ADI promised the same thing, and look how that turned out. And I thought, well, first, to be fair, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Secondly, in fact, may the horse you rode in on fuck you. Second of all, rude. You know, I'm not them. I have no affiliation. No. I know. What I'm saying is that it's an unfair comparison. It's a straw man argument, kind of. But finally, I'm not basing the success of my film on a bunch of thing-like effects. Okay? The effects will be excellent because an awful lot of time and effort is going into them. I know for a fact that, you know, there were very inexperienced people working on that stuff on Harbinger Down. Some experienced, some very not. But, you know, my film is really about reestablishing a mood, and I'm going to do everything I can. One thing I think that is very important is to open yourself up. Frank's hungry. I heard his belly go off.
Yeah, it was my belly.
One thing I think is very important is to open yourself up to as many other filmmakers as possible, competent filmmakers, not just anybody raising money to make some silly, you know, monster movie, but people who have a real brain in their head and to communicate what you're trying to do. And getting enough eyeballs on it and enough people who understand what you're trying to do so that they can give you effective feedback. I feel like in some ways, the ADI guys are a little too, how do I put it? Insulated, and deliberately so, from really thinking about what other people might have to say about it. I think they're really good guys, and they're very talented, and you know they've run a successful effects business for 30 years. But it would be nice if they could have been maybe a little more open to some feedback there. You know, not that I attempted to, but you know, I think the most important thing to do as a fledgling anything is to listen to the people that know shit. You know, and that film seems to me like something that was created in an insulated environment where they. And to be honest, I'm afraid that that's going to hurt for at least a while the market for these crowdfunding movie campaigns because it did turn out poorly. There were some effects that I thought were good, and I didn't think the acting was wretched or anything, but it did little, if anything, to establish a mood. The script felt kind of half-assed, and if you're going to do this, if you're going to make a film, you start with shorts. You just start with that. You don't go whole hog and try to make a whole feature. I know Alex done a little bit of directing here and there, but I would have dipped my toe in the water, and that's exactly what I'm doing here.
No, that sounds like it makes complete sense. Yeah. I did 8 short films before I attempted a feature, and that thing sucks.
Your feature?
Yeah. Nobody's seen it because it sucks.
What's it called?
It's never been put out. It's sitting on a hard drive under my desk.
What's it called?
Called 1650.
Okay.
It's the address of a house.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me the premise.
No, I don't want to.
Come on. It's not this could be an exclusive right now. Just tell me the premise.
It was myself and my friend Zeke decided to, and well, it was 3 of us. My buddy Tim, my buddy Zeke, and I all decided to make this. This was when found footage films were big. We're like, we could do this. Like, you know, we got a bunch of cameras, and these things are relatively cheap to make. So we tried to make one where it all take place in a house. People house sitting for some rich people, and strange things start happening where you think that the house is haunted, and then kind of the twist at the end is it's this like serial killer that just like fucking with people before he kills them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it was in a big giant mansion, which kind of explained all the cameras and
hour and a half. Full feature?
It was, I think it came out to like 80 some minutes.
Why wasn't it successful to you? What's wrong?
We needed to do a boatload of reshoots to kind of speed up some of the stuff, to kind of like move things along a little better. We wanted to change a couple of scenes, but the house that we shot it in got sold to somebody else, and we weren't able to go in there and shoot. So for us to build sets to recreate this mansion that we shot in would have cost as much as we spent just shooting it. So we were like,
was it a McMansion?
No, it was a mansion. It was a 60,000 square foot house.
Where?
In Indiana.
And those people just refused?
Well, it was sold, so we weren't able to have access.
Would you
thought about?
Would you ask them?
It wasn't. It's not an option.
Why?
All the furniture was gone. All the everything changed.
What a shame.
That's okay. I mean, we learned a lot on it.
Then your film doesn't necessarily suck. You just never got to finish it.
Well, you
just let me believe that it sucked, and I want to do another one day, and I'll do a better job because I've learned things.
Okay,
but
I'll let you believe it sucked.
I'm just wondering if you could redo that with just getting renting furniture, right?
No, hey Len, trust me, we thought about this.
Yeah. All right.
It needs to be shot over from square one, and it would have cost the same amount as reshoots. And instead of trying to make movies, I'm still working on that escape room. That's what I'm going to Cleveland for this weekend, to meet with my cousin about some of the escape room stuff.
Oh, nice.
That's my new favorite thing. Scratches the same itch as making films for myself and Zeke, because we're creating an environment, creating a story, and
what scratches the same itch?
Building an escape room. You ever gone to an escape room? You get locked in a room, maybe the size of this office, and there's a bunch of puzzles. Got to figure out all the little things to get out of the room. Like sometimes they're
it's like a computer game,
like horror themed. Sort of. Sometimes they're like the first one we're going to do is kind of like a vintagey spy kind of thing.
So how many people go into the room at a time?
It varies. Sometimes you can go into. It depends how the rooms are constructed. Some of them are 2 or 3 or 4 people. Some of them are 6 or 10 people.
I've seen them up to
yeah. It's huge.
It's almost like a haunted house,
kinda
for adults.
But they don't have to be haunted. It could be but pretty PG. The first one that we're doing is not. It's not.
It's not scary.
When I say but I mean it should be a little creepy and mysterious.
Well, this will be more mysterious, more mystery than.
Yeah, it's like a computer video game, and you're trying.
Yeah, like Myst back in the early 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's creepy to me. That's very spooky and odd.
Yeah. So we're we think we found a location. I'm still trying to get a lockdown on the zoning and where we're going to put it in.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. That's still working on that, guys.
That's cool. We wanted to do that over break. We just ran out of time to do it. So. Oh
yeah, escape rooms are fun.
So I was going to ask about your IndieGogo. You by the time this show is going up on Friday, so you still have about 2 weeks left. If people go and they give to your IndieGogo, are they going to be able to see any kind of concept, any of your concept work, anything like that they're going to be?
Well, we've got several perk tiers, of course. The first, which is $10, which is less than a Subway sandwich and a drink, gets you a thank you on our page.
Yeah.
The next tier, which...
So he's asking you to skip lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, just give me $10. Give it to me right now. The next tier is $25. Now, it doesn't say so on the page, but because we couldn't go back and change the perks once our campaign went live. Sure. But we did change it internally.
Bless you.
And that's what you get for $25. A sneeze in your face from me. Which,
Here's your snot, Egon.
Yeah. A guy who worked on Bride of the Reanimator will sneeze in your face. Anyway, no, it's you get the digital download for 25 and it doesn't say that on the campaign's perks, but that is what you get.
Did you put that in like an update down in the bottom?
Yes, exactly. But I need to keep telling people that because people say, why is everything so expensive to get the download? It's like, well, it's actually there, but it's not front and center the way it needs to be. We blew it. But the point is, and then there are multiple perks going up and up and up until like 10,000, which I don't, it's not. But $10,000 would get you like one of the creatures from the movie and the digital download and the Blu-ray and
the sneeze in the face
and the massage from Halle Berry, my sister.
Halle Berry's your sister?
Well, I know looking at me you can't tell. No, she's not. The only thing Halle Berry and I have in common is the fact that we're both mulatto. We're both half white and half black.
There you go.
I mean, and we're both beautiful.
And you like to dress up as Catwoman every once in a while.
I'm dressed up like her
that's
now,
right. I'm
underneath these clothes. So don't make fun and don't laugh. That's rude. What's your ethnic background, man?
I am Filipino.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so.
There we go.
And Frank Ippolito. Gee, I wonder what that is.
He's Filipino
Russian
too.
Italian.
Huh?
He's Filipino too.
No, this guy's a pizza-eating Guide right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got Russian. I got about a quarter Russian too, so I can drink a lot.
There are two things that people never believe about me. Never believe. They never believe, A, that I'm half black. They all say, no, you're not. You don't even sound black. It's like, what does that sound like? Uneducated and like I'm from the ghetto? That's what black is, which is racist.
Right.
But they also never believe I'm straight. They never believe I'm straight. Everyone thinks I'm gay. In fact, I was just talking to a woman last night, and she's like, she's Chinese. She's a friend of mine. She said, everyone thinks you're gay. And I was like, what? I think it's actually flattering to me because, in my opinion, gays are the most fastidious people I know. Everything's got to be clean. Well, I mean, that's kind of a generalization, but they're very fast-thinking people. That's also a generalization. I know a lot of dumb ones. What I'm saying, ones. See, I'm digging myself a hole.
Yeah.
Ones? What do you mean ones? What do you mean, Jordu?
Is it the flamboyance, you think?
You could call it flamboyant. You can call it eccentric. I don't know. Call it what you want. It's just, I don't know. Just, I all throughout my time in the business, people were like, oh, Jordu, yeah, he's gay. Like, I am? I didn't know.
Well, you should use that to your advantage somehow, you know?
I know, like, oh, don't worry, I can see your wife's tits. I'm gay. So
Here, let me touch them.
Just show, oh, yeah, I see, it doesn't even do anything for me. Doesn't do a thing for me. Can I see the whole thing? Let me see the whole body. Let me see the little bush and the little V you got. Oh, that looks good. That's good. You could trim it up a little bit here. Let me touch it. Don't worry about it. I'm gay. It's fine.
Everybody thinks.
And if you want more of this, he's got an audio blog.
Send all your women to me, and I'll just take a look at their bodies and let you know what I think. Maybe take them for a test run. I won't get turned on anyway. I'm gay. It's like, okay, fine. I think I'm gay. So I'm banging your wife.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose a lot of fans over this one.
No, man, this is the stuff that they love.
This is a great way to start the year. I think this is really This is a good way.
How long is this thing? How long
we usually go about an hour. We're close around an hour. You got anything else you want to chat about?
I don't know.
You want to keep going? We'll keep going.
I could keep going forever. You guys are fun to talk to because you let me talk about me.
Yes.
And all I care about is
more
me.
about. Hey,
no, me.
I wanted to ask you a question about.
I wanted to know what your favorite horror film is.
Favorite horror film?
Pretend a Nazi has a gun to your head. You have to answer.
Well, I mean, you can't. No, you can't
like
do that because everybody's got like the same like half a dozen in that little realm.
What do you mean you can't do that? I did.
All right, you did.
Answer.
I'm trying to think of something that isn't like the obvious like thing.
Right.
American Werewolf in London, like the same.
Well, but if they're your favorites, then they're your favorites.
They're kind of favorites.
Yeah, well, they're great.
Yeah, they're great.
The Shining. I love The Shining.
The Shining?
Yeah. Would you consider that a horror film? I don't know if that's a horror film.
What's that?
I don't know if The Shining is a horror film or not.
Now, okay.
Wait a minute. I want to address this. You're not sure The Shining is a horror film. Do you think it's a middling drama about a family's problem?
That's not what I mean. It's not like in the true sense of a horror film. It's more psychological terror than it is true horror.
Now, this is starting to get into a conversation I had over the holidays, right after we finished watching Don't Breathe with Phil. He said, that's not a horror film. Like, yeah, it is, Phil.
Which one,
like,
Don't Breathe?
Yeah. He goes, no, there's no supernatural element. I said, you don't need to have a supernatural element to make a horror film.
I hate to say it.
No, I think horror,
I agree with him.
Horror is the umbrella, and there's supernatural horror, there's slasher films,
psychological terror,
torture porns, there's psychological. There's all these things that are under the horror umbrella, and it doesn't necessarily have to have a supernatural element.
Well, here's the thing, though. Movies like Halloween and Don't Breathe and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre could fall under the umbrella of horror. I put them under... Well, maybe it's a subset.
Texas Chainsaw... And that was my argument with Phil, too, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Take a deep breath, Frank. What I'm saying is, I put those under thriller. Now, you'll probably say, well, thriller's a subset of horror. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Psycho is not a horror film.
Psycho's not a horror film?
No, it's a thriller. To me.
Thriller.
To me.
The Hills Have Eyes?
Thriller. Horrific thriller, but it's a thriller first.
What's the difference?
A thriller means that it could happen, technically.
Okay.
Horror, to me, involves some sort of, like, who was this person you're arguing with?
Philip Tippett.
Oh, Phil. Oh, him. I agree with Phil, and not because it's Phil Tippett. I thought you said an uncle or something. Well, it is your father-in-law, whatever.
Maybe one day. I haven't proposed yet.
Tie the knot already. It's Phil Tippett, for God's sake.
All of my friends, everybody's pressuring this. She's always looking at her finger. No! Leave me alone.
Maybe she's looking at her finger because there's a growth in there that's going to eventually turn into a baby that grows out of her arm and sucks blood out of you while you sleep.
No, that's your short film.
Yeah, I know. James, sorry, guys. Got a little excited. Anyway, I'm going to say I agree with him because I feel like horror involves some kind of otherworldly situation. Something that is...
like a cannibalistic family running around with a chainsaw in the middle of...
But it could happen.
That's a thrill.
There is no fantastical element. It's not someone who turns into a dog on the full moon.
Yeah.
It's not a little girl who is being possessed by a demon. Then again, you're Catholic. Maybe you think it could really happen.
I'm not Catholic.
No,
I'm an atheist, fella.
Yeah, but were you not raised Catholic?
Presbyterian.
I don't know the difference. I mean, I know Catholics wrap your knuckles with the rulers, but
that's any Italian family.
Anyway, no, the teacher... forget it. I meant in parochial school. Anyway, what I'm saying is, to me, horror is something where there's something otherworldly going on. Supernatural, when you say supernatural, that tends to evoke, religious stuff. Something otherworldly, I'll say. Something that couldn't really happen in the real world. For instance, Seven, as horrific as it is a thriller. That's a thriller, And it's just, it's married to horror, very close, but it's just not quite horror. Now, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's the opinion of multiple people, which
for
is
instance,
why we're having the discussion.
I had a sort of argument, friendly argument, like what you had with Phil, with my friend Jim. I said, oh, yeah, Star Wars is one of the great science fiction. This is not science fiction. What is it? It's fantasy. I was like, well, but it's science fiction. He's like, no, it's a fantasy. He said the science fiction element of it is merely a vehicle upon which to base this fantasy world. And I thought, okay. And then I stabbed him so many times that his neck was just a bunch of ribbons squirting blood. And I was right, as it turns out.
That's why you see sci-fi / fantasy. Because it's too hard
to fantasy.
Horror / thriller.
The best part of that whole murder was that I left his body there and I wrote, "May the force be with you in blood." Hello, sailor. Anyway, no.
Well, the word horror, like it's a horrific thing that's happening.
Yes, but horrific things happen in the movie Ordinary People. You ever seen that movie?
I don't think so.
And you lose. I'm out of here.
All
right. That movie is an Academy Award winner. It was Robert Redford's directorial debut in 1980. Timothy Hutton won Best Supporting Actor. Mary Tyler Moore was in it, and Donald Sutherland. And that is about a family whose eldest son dies in a boating accident, and the younger son was with him at the time, but survived. And the mother really only loved the older son.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes clear throughout the film. And
so it's a feel-good movie.
No, it is not. But I mean, there are some horrific things that happen in the film. So horrific things happen. Like, I don't consider those Hostel movies horror. They are almost, I mean, they're thrillers, but they're like a subgenre, pornography.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't heard that word before. That's a good one.
And my friend Joey Rocket made it up, but I stole it and I call it my own now.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah. But I don't know. It doesn't really fucking matter. There are movies.
No, but it's at least give something for people to comment on in the comments. And
yes.
Who's that fat fuck you had on the fucking thing? First of all, I think he's a douchebag, and I'm not going to contribute shit to his IndieGogo. Second of all, he's fat. Third of all, stop eating ice cream, fatty. Why so many comments about my weight? What?
P.S. He's gay.
Yeah, P.S. That gay racist man that you had on your thing who's fat and eats too many Pop-Tarts. How about if I just give you a few cherry Pop-Tarts, the frosted kind, for your fucking IndieGogo, you fatty?
I was considering just sending you over a couple boxes of Pop-Tarts for your IndieGogo. I'll just contribute to craft service.
Cherry frosted or those maple frosted ones? Those are pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Really? The maple? Really? No.
Oh, we got
you live in Ohio, Len. You got to eat that garbage.
You don't like the maple
no,
and brown
I don't
sugar
like the
Pop Tarts?
Those are good ones.
Those are bad.
Why were you involved in 9/11? Because that's obviously that's a really un-American thing to say. That's un-American. If you
oh man,
I don't know. I mean, do you like the cherry frosted ones with little sprinkly shit on it?
Yeah, I do like those.
You like the strawberry ones?
I do.
9/11. See, you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy.
Here's how bad I am. Sometimes I don't even like them frosted. I just like them plain.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely a terrorist.
It's the stuff on the inside that's the good stuff.
No, anyway. It's the frosting and the stuff on the inside and the cardboard shit that they wrap it all in. That's what's good about it. In the 70s, there was like a ripoff brand called like Toaster Fun or some shit.
Toaster strudels.
No, not those are good. These were a ripoff brand, like a not Kellogg's.
Plop-Tart.
Yeah, there was some kind of crap, and they were awful. But they're the kinds my parents got because they were just a little cheaper, and everyone was trying to save money. And I was always very upset about that. But I'm admitting it here now. I'm Pop-Tart deficient.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
So, Len and I were chatting a little bit about Rogue One.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I only want to talk about one thing with you. Now, you have done one of the most amazing Peter Cushing sculptures I have ever seen.
Thank you very much.
And I showed you, the little sculpture that I'm working on. I'm trying to do that likeness makeup. So I've stared at his face a ton also. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the CG Tarkin?
Well, their model was superb. It looked just like him. I think it's a little too soon technologically to try to make something like that photoreal and talk. I mean, I know how hard they must have worked on this. They must have had tons of people involved and looking at it and going back and forth. And I cannot fault the artists who worked on that. I think they did an amazing. They undertook something that is nearly impossible and came up a bit short, not because of the modeling. I think that it looked just like Grand Moff Tarkin, like Peter Cushing. The movement and that and the Leia at the end, which I thought was really unnecessary to even show her. I thought it would have been 10 times more effective to have her from the back with the hood, take it in her hand, and just say, hope.
Yes.
And you just see her from the back. Wow. Bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
But Tarkin, unfortunately, when he talked and moved, was a bit in that uncanny valley. And I feel bad saying that because I think the work that ILM, those guys at ILM do, is second to none. But nobody can do this. Nobody, not yet.
Yeah.
You know, motion
they
capture,
came pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Pretty damn
there
close.
were some shots where I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
There's one moment where he kind of turns to the camera, turns to someone he's talking to quickly, and I was like, ooh, that's great. And then he talked, and I was like, ooh, it's still not there yet.
Yeah.
But what can I say? I couldn't fucking get anywhere near that.
No, I agree with you on your sentiments about it.
The reason that Avatar looked so good was you're dealing with alien people. You know, the reason when they talked and emoted and stuff,
the giant cartoon characters.
Yeah, it's you know, they're not actual people. And even if we're sick, alone, home in bed, throwing up and shitting simultaneously, we see a person every day. We look in the mirror and go, is this sickness going to kill me? You at least see yourself.
Yeah.
When you see that every single day and you try to mimic it, I mean,
that's hard.
It's incredibly.
I can't fathom it.
And people are saying, what did you think of the Tarkin, Jordu? A lot of people have asked me this because I did that bust. And, you know, it's really apples and oranges. I mean, all I did was sculpt him.
Yeah, but I'm asking you as somebody that stared at his face a lot. And, you know, when you
their model was
the likeness,
their model was spot on.
Oh,
you can't. In fact, their model is probably more accurate than mine. Mine captures the essence of him, his creepiness, you know, and you know, we did go through a lot of work. You know, I sculpted it and we cast it in silicone and inserted the eyes. And I painted it very carefully, and my hair girl Denise did an amazing job. And you know, but I had a billionth of the responsibility they did.
Mm-hmm.
A billionth. All I had to do was sculpt it right. So people went, "Oh, that's Peter Cushing." They were trying to get a performance out of a model that wasn't even there. I wouldn't even know where to fucking start.
Yeah.
And if this is what we're doing in the infancy, you know, it's like, think about 10 years before Jurassic Park when they did, you know,
Lawnmower
The
Man.
Last Starfighter or one of these pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with these really blocky, obvious computer rendered ships and stuff that look, you know, And then Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
What a leap.
Yeah.
What will we see in
Right.
10 years from now when I'm already dead of a heart attack?
From all the Pop-Tarts. Everybody
No.
send Jordu Pop-Tarts.
Either a heart attack or diabetes. That's probably how I'll go. Could be cancer. Could be the big C. That's the one I'm most afraid of. I don't know why.
All the silica in the wet clay.
Could be. Could well be. Thanks. I had a friend. There was a family friend named Milton that I knew. He was old when I met him. But his first heart attack, he recovered from. And he said it felt like an elephant was standing on his chest. That scared the shit out of my ass. Like, when I heard that. I think I was probably 11. Yeah, it felt like an elephant was standing on my chest. I was like, I'm scared, Milton. I'm scared. And he did things to me that I still don't forget. He didn't. But anyway, he was a good guy. I know, I'm sick. I should be banned.
Where are we going with this?
I don't know. Where are we going with
this?
I'm not gay. Well, anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think about death a lot. Are you afraid of death? Don't lie and be all macho. And be like, no, because of course you are. You're human.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to think about death. Don't try and pull this shit on me like my girlfriend does. Tell me about your thoughts and your emotions. No! Let me bottle them up and compartmentalize them like
all men.
Like me. Leave me alone.
That's fantastic. Do you like Bill Burr? The comedian Bill Burr.
I don't know.
Oh, you got to listen to him. You'd like him. What about Louis C.K.?
Louis C.K. is good.
Louis C.K. is pretty good.
Yeah, Louis C.K. is good. Who did I listen to? I can't remember the guy's name. Never mind. Moving on.
What's the most inept horror film you've seen?
Inept?
The worst piece of shit you've ever seen. Besides the film I'm going to make.
I don't know.
Recently?
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman was pretty damn bad.
Is a horror film?
No, not horror film.
I
just thought as a film.
I worked on that, pal. And I will have you know.
Did you work over at Uncle Stevie Wang's?
No, I did the Behemoth maquette for the final thing at the end. The film was whatever.
Oh, that looked good. But the story itself, I mean...
Whatever.
I like the fight scene in the warehouse with the Russian guys. With the Batman and the fighting. I've been let down by a lot of horror movies. Harbinger down because I chipped in $50 on that, and I don't feel that I got my money's worth.
So, was this a sly way of asking? So, Jordu, considering Harbinger down, do you think I should invest in your film? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm already going to give you money. And I'm going to give you all the internet's money. All of you people on the internet, give him money.
Give me some money.
No, I don't know.
You know what's funny is
you can't talk about kickstarting or crowdfunding a horror film without talking about things that
the miserable failures.
Because that's rough. That's a hard thing to overcome. Sandy Calora just did his Shadow Water thing, and he got his money, and that's a hard thing to do to get that money, and now he's got to show people something that's worthwhile because he wants to do a bunch of these films, and it's going to get when he was here
a bunch of Turtle Monster movies.
He wants to do an anthology.
Oh,
that's what he's doing. This is the first
about the turtle thing.
No, he's going to do other things, but I mean that's in his Kickstarter. He says he's going to do an anthology of horror films, and that's going to get increasingly harder with every film he does, because if he doesn't outperform people's expectations,
unless he does a really, really great movie with the turtle thing. I mean,
if it does fan service and it gives people what they want out of it, like you see a turtle monster and it's what's built up in your mind of what Sandy's film is going to be, then it might not be that hard to kickstart whatever his next film is. But I agree. But everyone is going to get harder and harder, and it's going to get harder to get more money. It's going to become less money you get every time, because you might, like, let's say you get 100 people to give you money the first time, maybe only 90 give you the next time. Maybe that guy doesn't have $50 to spare. Maybe it's only 20. So it's going to be tricky.
Could be. I don't know. I have no idea.
I could be wrong. I could be way wrong. But it's a tricky thing to crowdfund, and it's a tricky thing to deliver.
Full hard. Of I mean, Kickstarters are tough.
I want Jordu to make a cool film. No, I want to see all his monsters on the screen. I want to see a nice slow burn.
Well, again, what my real thrust here is to build a certain mood, so that when you see things creature related, you're like, oh wow, oh god, that's whoa, as opposed to that's bitchin' or cool, or I really want, and that's one of the reasons, and one of the things that is very difficult about my campaign is I am trying very, very hard to keep a lot of these creatures completely top secret. I don't want to show them all on IndieGogo. A lot of people, when they're doing these things, they show every little thing you're going to see. What's the point then of watching it? I am trying very, very hard to resist showing people any more than necessary to raise the amount.
I don't want to see anything. I'm gonna just send you loot. I don't want to look at anything. Nothing.
He doesn't even want to see your film.
All to be a surprise.
I put out a teaser.
I don't want to see the teaser. Yeah. I don't want to see anything.
Yeah. No. The teaser,
I don't even want to see the film. I'm just going to give you $50.
All right. Okay. But the teaser intrigues without. We have something called the red dress teaser, where you see a woman get out of a car and act a little weird. And we are going to put out another teaser that's going to give a little more of the mood and the feel of the film without really revealing very much either. But, you know, if I had it to do all over again, you really should have a trailer in place already and, you know, to get people excited. You know. But surprisingly, despite the fact that we started off the campaign a little clunkily, you know, because it was our first time putting one together, without a teaser or a trailer of any kind, and over 3 consecutive holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. We're still over 70%.
That's good.
That's great. Yeah, you'll get it.
So I'm very excited about it.
I always hear that those things, they go real hot and heavy in the beginning and at the end. In the middle, there's like a lag.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
All the crowdfunding things. It's like there's a big push in the beginning, a big push at the end.
Well, we're pushing.
Yeah,
like a fucking pushing out a mutant baby.
Do you know what the URL is for your Indiegogo? Indiegogo.com/ or...
Well, the name of the film, which I don't think I've said yet, is Remote Viewing.
Remote Viewing.
And the if you look that up on Indiegogo, you'll find it. Remote Viewing Film.
We'll put the link in the show notes.
That's right.
We'll put it up on Tested and everything. On YouTube's.
There you go.
But it's I've had the idea for 20 some years. More than that, 25 years. And it was inspired, you know, kind of got germinating in my head from a song by the synthesizer group Tangerine Dream,
mm-hmm.
Who did the score for Thief and Legend and a bunch of others. And it's a song at the end of their album Exit called Remote Viewing.
Remote Viewing.
And what's so weird is I couldn't figure out what the title was for the movie for the longest time. I kept trying to think, what's the title? And I thought, wait a minute.
And you fell in the bathroom, hit your head on the toilet.
Well, actually, it was in the middle of setting some bombs underneath a school bus. And I thought, remote viewing. It's so obvious. And unfortunately, in my excitement to take it down on my phone, the name, I forgot to put the timers on the school bus thing and the kids lived. But, you know, it's just, these are the things you got to go through. You know,
be an artist.
Yeah, to be an artist, you just got to give you got to sacrifice.
Hey, so what's your favorite thing that you have designed or worked on? You're mostly known as a creature designer.
Cody. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're mostly known as a creature designer. You've designed some of the most iconic stuff that we've ever seen. What is your favorite? Or what is something that you really feel that you like, I did this, that's awesome.
Well,
proud of.
My favorite films that I've worked on are Galaxy Quest, which I thought was so much fun and so funny.
Love that movie.
And The Mist, which I worked on.
I like that movie too.
But rarely have I designed... I don't think I've ever designed things for films where I was like, I did that, huh? You know, I just...
Not out of an ego, but I mean, like, there's got to...
I guess what I'm saying is that when I'm creating and that's why it's so exciting to be making my own film. Every time I do something, it's going to be contextualized by someone else and used for their story and their idea and their mood and their look and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, if the film is entertaining, I can say I'm proud to have worked on that. But I don't look at anything I've done for films and go, yeah. You know, it just... Whereas making my own thing, I'm so excited. Like today, my buddy Dave Smith and I started blocking out one of the bigger things in the movie in watercolor, and I was sitting there sculpting and going, my God, I'm not doing this for anyone else but me. This is my thing. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be shot and lit and contextualized in exactly the way I want it to be. Mm. And there was something so amazing about obviously I know that consciously, but it hit me on a deeper level, you know.
But he's not going to answer my question.
Oh,
that's okay.
I don't know if I can.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Such a letdown. On that note, let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We have a lot of people to thank, right?
Well, yeah, we got our our tip jar that we call Patreon, or Patreon that we call our tip jar. Thanks, guys, for sticking through us in my month and a half that we didn't record. My two favorite people in the whole entire universe, Jason Moore and Eric Suglum. I love you too.
There you go.
And I think Jason said he's going to come to Monster Palooza again. I'm going to take that motherfucker out for lunch.
Nice.
And then Brian Warner, Gareth Irwin, Gerard Libby, Sarah Thompson, Charles Babbage, Eddie Haleko, Ricardo Murillo, Eric Mullins, Raymond Stanek, Russell Young, and Donato
Sinico.
Third. Thanks, guys.
The name of the movie, Jordu's movie, is Remote Viewing. Go to IndieGogo.com to check it out. Where can people find you online, Jordu?
Well, you can, of course, go to my site, JorduSchell.com, JorduSchell.com. And you can also, of course, follow me on Facebook. We have a Facebook page for remote viewing as well.
You have an Instagram?
I do have Instagram. I think it's Jordu Schell Studios. I do have 100,000 people on that.
Nice.
But, I've been neglecting it horribly for the last month or something. So I've got to jump back on the bandwagon.
Tap into that.
Yes. So just search for Jordu Schell online.
Jordu Schell.
Jordu.
Jordu
Schell, man.
And you'll be able to find him. You can also look for Frank and I online, frankippolito.com or lenperalta.com. We are also Frank Hippolito and Len Peralta on Twitter. Thanks for the folks at tested.com for giving us a home. And if you'd like to visit our main site, it's creature-geek.com. And of course, our Patreon is patreon.com/CreatureGeek. Don't forget to go to tested.com or write us at len@creaturegeek-geek or frank@creature-geek. And leave us some comments about the show. I'm sure there's all kinds of great things you want to say about the show, because this is a great show.
Yeah, I want you on more, Jordu.
Yeah, for sure.
This is fun. This is fun.
We would love to have you back on. This, I think, once again, we're only scratching the surface of you as a guest.
Well, I want to hear about once you made this.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I want the postmortem.
Well, we didn't even get into the whole just being a concept designer and what do you like better, sculpting or we got to talk about all the mechanics of what you are. So, and we will do that on another episode of Creature Geek. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.